This is breaking news.
That breaking news, brand new video shows Trailblazers head coach Chauncey Billups leaving federal court. He appeared before a judge on charges of money laundering and wire fraud conspiracy. The FBI says he's involved in a massive illegal gambling scheme. The case involves millions of dollars, the mafia, and dozens of alleged co-conspirators, including other big names in the NBA. The indictment against Billups was filed in the Eastern District of New York. Billups is set to appear in federal court in Brooklyn tomorrow. Thanks for joining us for K2 News at 4. I'm Rake.
And I'm Deborah Knapp. At this hour, Billups is on leave and the Blazers have named an interim head coach. So here's what you need to know right now. There are two operations under investigation. One about rigged poker games in which federal prosecutors say Billups participated in high-stakes games that allowed the mafia to steal millions of dollars from unsuspecting people. The other is about illegal betting on NBA games. They say bettors got non-public information which helped them win big. A guard for the Miami Heat, Terry Rozier, was arrested in that case, and the Trailblazers are named as one of the teams bet upon. Billups is not named specifically in that case. However, the description of co-conspirator number 8 does reference a player and eventual coach that matches Billups' description.
K2 News is on your side with live team coverage tonight. Over the next few minutes, we'll break down the allegations, Billups' appearance in federal court this afternoon, where the team stands now, and how fans are reacting just as this new season gets underway.
Let's start with K2's Thanvi Verma live outside the federal courthouse in downtown Portland. And Thanvi, you just saw Billups leave the courthouse.
That's right, Deb. So Chauncey Billups just walked out of the courthouse. I asked him point blank whether he defrauded victims out of millions of dollars. He said nothing at all. He kept his composure. A few hours ago, a judge authorized his release on certain conditions, including what they're saying is a substantial bond, and by they, I mean the prosecution, and a prohibition on gambling. Portland Trailblazers head coach Chauncey Billups indicted for allegedly taking part in a scheme that defrauded victims out of at least $7 million. That's according to United States Department of Justice. Billups, alongside over 24 people, allegedly put together rigged poker games in which they'd trick people out of their money. In a press conference held Thursday, the assistant director for the FBI New York field office explained.
Victims were attracted to play alongside well-known professional athletes and coaches like Chauncey Billups, only to be unknowingly deceived through rigged shuffling machines, fixing the odds in their favor, as alleged.
When it comes to technology, that's not all. The DOJ alleges the defendants had card analyzers that utilize technology loaded onto decoy cell telephones that could surreptitiously detect which cards were on the table, and playing cards that had markers visible only to individuals wearing specifically, or rather specially designed contact lenses or sunglasses. And coming up at 5 p.m., we break down allegations of the mafia's involvement. Reporting live in downtown, Thanvi Verma, K2 News.
Thanvi, thank you. We want to turn our attention now to K2 Sports Director Tyree Smith, live in Tualatin at the Blazers practice facility.
And Tyree, the Blazers did practice today. They were supposed to have a regular media availability, but they canceled. So what can you tell us about what you've seen out there and what we know about this new interim head coach?
Yeah, right. I mean, that's basically about it. They had practice today. We're supposed to have media availability, but they canceled. And we've been outside this practice facility live streaming all day long, and it's been exactly what you expect. I mean, you could just take a look right here. We were able to get some faces of players and some staff members just kind of coming out and seeing if we could get a reaction from their coach, who is basically in the biggest scandal in Blazers history. We couldn't get any comment, but we got a lot of sad faces and confused looks. They're hurt by this news. And on top of that, they have to go play a game tomorrow at the Moda Center versus the Golden State Warriors at 7 p.m. Questions will be asked, and at about 5:15 at home games, that's typically when the head coach for the team comes and speaks to the media. Tiago Splitter, who is now the interim head coach, will probably be taking that place. So potentially, not sure yet, might be hearing from him at 5:15 tomorrow before the press conference. But folks, it's definitely a tough deal for these players. It's a players-led coach, and now they got to figure out how to go 81 games. Yesterday was just the first one. 81 games for the rest of the season without their head coach, with this hanging over their heads. And there's still so many more questions to be asked, and there's so much more for us to find out. And we'll have a lot more for you on K2 News at 5. Stick around, because this story is just the beginning. All right, Deb?
Terry Smith, thank you for that. It's been a roller coaster of emotions for fans over the last 24 hours, from celebrating the start of that new season to now the arrest of the head coach.
So Katu's Guillermo Mota is live at the Mota Center for us tonight. Guillermo, how are fans taking the news?
Deb, surprised. Just 24 hours ago, like you mentioned, we were out here talking to fans, having some good time. Fast forward to today, this is what's going on. This is the reality, head coach Chauncey Billups and what's going on. And talking to fans, several fans today, they're all shocked, surprised, and disappointed just because they never expected this type of scandal going on with their team. We talked to a fan earlier today who said, this is not only about the Blazers, this is about the future of the league and how the league can be better.
Because of the light of this, I think that the best outcome is to have more restrictions and have more oversight of other teams, because this can't continue. Otherwise, sport like basketball would just be gambling. It's no longer just go see and support your team now. It's just more about money.
Yeah. Like he mentioned, it's more about basketball. It's more than basketball, and it's about money. And talking about money, fans will be spending their money to come see the Blazers here tomorrow in a huge matchup against the Golden State Warriors. So like Tyree mentioned, we'll be posted here tomorrow to hear more from anyone in the Blazers organization about what's going on. But we'll stay put out here in the Mota Center and around to talk to fans to see what they got to say to us. Live at the Mota Center, Guillermo Mota, KT News.
Guillermo, thank you for that. As we mentioned, there are two separate sports betting schemes. The other case relates to allegedly rigged bets. The suspects are accused of providing inside information about players to co-defendants who used it to place unlawful wagers.
K2 Steve Dunn is tracking this part of the story for us from the live desk. And Steve, Billups is not charged in this case, but court documents describe somebody that matches his description.
Absolutely do, Deb. They say co-conspirator 8 lived in Oregon, was an NBA player from about 1997 to 2014, was an NBA coach since at least 2021. The Blazers named Chauncey head coach in June of 21. And according to court documents, around March 24th of 23, co-conspirator 8 told the defendant that the Blazers were going to be tanking for draft position. Co-conspirator 8 also allegedly gave inside information that several of the Blazers' best players wouldn't be playing in that game. Reports from that day show that several star players sat out and that the Blazers lost. A U.S. attorney discussed the case this morning.
This scheme is an insider sports betting conspiracy that exploited confidential information about National Basketball Association athletes and teams.
Now, one of the suspects is Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier. He was in court today in Orlando. He was arrested there shortly after the Heat played the Magic last night. Between December of 22 and March of 24, he's accused of sharing information about team rosters. In a statement, Rozier's lawyer said Terry is not a gambler, but he is not afraid of a fight, and he looks forward to winning this fight. Rozier is also accused of faking an injury in March of 23 when he was with the Charlotte Hornets.
The non-public information included when specific players would be sitting out future games, or when they would pull themselves out early for purported injuries or illnesses.
A former Cleveland Cavaliers player and coach, Damon Jones, was also arrested in all of this. We'll be following this case and any connection to Portland as it develops. Back to you guys.
Okay, Steve, thank you. Of course, we want to hear from you, the viewer. How do you think this scandal will impact the Blazers season? Will it be a distraction? Open the door to new leadership? Is it still too early to tell? You can weigh in by scanning the QR code on your screen or by clicking on this story on our website at katu.com.
This, of course, is a breaking news story. Be sure to stick with K2 as our complete team coverage continues throughout the hour. The latest from the NBA Players Association, how a current NBA player is tied to this, and hear what top FBI officials are saying about the case today. That's all coming up around 4:30.